Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. We talked a little bit about the new Apple Classical app in a recent video, and a bunch of you had questions about other streaming services, particularly the Presto Music app, which is a division of Presto Classical or Presto Music, which is in the UK. They're an online retailer and a very, very good online retailer, I have to say. Not just because I've featured in a couple of their blogs and whatnot. I mean, they really know what they're doing and how to sell classical music, which is a wonderful thing. And they have a streaming app, and it's terrific. I just have to tell you, I think it's marvelous. Straight off the bat. Let me show you what it looks like and why I like it. I like it because of its simplicity and its honesty. Presto, remember, is a store. They're not a streaming thing. So the streaming thing is an appurtenance to the store. So, I mean, it's, first of all, the honesty of it is marvelous. They're there to sell the product, and they know how to sell the product. And so the app shows that they know how to sell the product. Here it is on my phone. That's this little thing here. So we go to the app, and we can go to Home, and Home gives you new classical releases, and you can scan through it. You can play things and listen to stuff, and if you buy things and it comes with the downloadable stuff, you get, well, let me show you. First, you can explore, and you can explore by composers and artists and labels. It's very straightforward. I mean, I just love the no bullshit attitude, frankly. It's really the way I would want to shop. I mean, you know what composers you want. You know what artists you like. You've got conductors, pianists, violinists, cellists, trumpeters, saxophonists. One of you saxophonists just unsubscribed because I mocked a new classical saxophone recording coming out. And my response was, well, look at the bright side. At least you're not a classical accordionist, right? Anyway, so there was that. And you can view all. They have like their most popular ones. And then you can look at them all. And it's all alphabetized. And the labels are there. They have genres, classical genres and jazz genres. It's just sensible and painless. And then you have the collection. Now, the collection is stuff that you've looked at that you like. And you just touch a little heart. Let me show you how this works. I mean, this isn't helping, is it? If I just do this. See, there's a collection. I just did some things. And you have a choice with the collection. If you subscribe to this, you can listen to it online, streaming, lossless streaming, or you can listen to it offline. And which means you download it, which takes very little time if you have a good download thing. And I did it, and it works quite splendidly. So there's collection, and there are articles, which are all about things, all kinds of, artists. I don't read the articles. I have to, excuse me. I have to be honest, but you've got recordings of the week and, all the usual marketing hoo-ha here. And it's very nice. Now, when you go to your collection here, here's your collection, you can, I have it organized here by albums. You've got recently added. You can organize it in various different ways, which is helpful. I mean, for example, here's like, larger and whatnot. And it's all just simple, clear, unashamedly trying to sell the product. Now, who is this really best for? The fact is, this is good if you're a serious classical person who wants to shop, who wants to find things. They don't have the same amount of stuff as some of these like mega things, like they say billions of tracks and millions. They only have about 200,000 albums or something. That's plenty for most of us, I would think. I mean, don't you? If you need to find something to listen to somewhere in that 200,000 or however many hundreds of thousands of things they have, but it's clear, it's organized correctly, it's cataloged correctly, it's alphabetized correctly. I mean, it moves very quickly. You could scroll through it. It's very intuitive. I think it's a wonderful streaming app. I really do. And for 99.999% of humanity, that's all you're going to need. I really believe that. The more I have used this, the more I like it. I really do, because I'm not interested in somebody's opinion on, who was Mozart. Some people will be. Some people truly will be. But I personally believe that even beginners, one of the problems with the stuff for beginners is that they've convinced themselves that they're beginners and that they need to have all this background information before they do anything. The best way to learn about classical music from when I was younger was to just go into a store and look at what's available and read liner notes on the back of LPs. That did it. And while you don't have the liner notes on the back of the LPs, you do have lots of digital booklets and things that you can look at in the Presto site. And, it's fine. It's fine. The only way to really do it, frankly, if you're a beginner, I hope you're listening, just immerse yourself. Go look at stuff. Find something interesting. Sample. And then make a decision. And then listen to it. That's all you need. And if you're really curious, you can always look it up on Wikipedia or do something, It's so easy to find information, background information on these composers and works now. It's no effort at all. So what you really want is a streaming service that's going to be extremely easy to use. And Presto is wonderfully easy to use. It's just smartly done, and that's so rare by people who know the catalog, who know how classical music should be presented. And that's the way to do it, I really think. Now, having said that, I want to make an observation. And if if this answers your question about the streaming services, you can stop listening now. It's okay. But I do want to make an observation because you have taught me a great deal about this. Since I remember I started and I was like, streaming, I like physical product. I do. But so many of you do use streaming services, and I thought it was only reasonable that I start subscribing to all of them and looking. So I have Qbuzz, and I have Spotify, and I have Presto, and I have Apple, and I have something called Classical Music. I don't know what it's called, Classical Music Archive, and I've got like, I don't know, more of them, and I'm paying for all of them, and it's stupid, and I'm going to have to get rid of some. But for the moment, I'm just playing around. I'm playing around and trying to figure out, what works best and what I'm going to use. And I also have Sonos in my home, which is, some of these services are available as part of Sonos so that you can play them in any room of your house. And it's, oh my goodness, it's just unbelievable. One of the things I've seen is that it really is the Wild West out there. It's very different from what I and many of you out there grew up with, which was the classical music industry decided on a standard. Everybody went along with that standard, and that's what they presented. I mean, the last time they did that was with the compact disc. All right, everybody agreed that was the standard, and this is what we're going to get. Then after that, all hell broke loose. You had SACD and DVD audio, and there was a lot of competition between the two. Remember, it was like Betamax versus whatever the other one was, for movies. There was Sony Beta, which was its own thing, and then there was everyone else. And the industry could never agree on a standard, and that killed it. It absolutely killed it. Because when everybody goes with their own way, the consumer pays the price. We're at a loss. We have to decide. And I really was very resistant to a lot of the things they wanted me to do. I had to get a new CD player. I had to get one that plays Blu-ray. I have to get this. I have to get that. And now you have Dolby Atmos. And I couldn't care less about that shit. I got to tell you. I want music. I want music. I do not want to have to be obsessed with the technical details of how to obtain the music. Someone else needs to make that decision for me. I don't want to do it. I don't have the patience. I really don't. And with these streaming services, I've seen, and from reading your comments since just a day when we've done the Apple Music one, I mean, all of the different services that you use and what you have to do to use the services, whether they're only going to be on your phone or whether you want to hear them over a system and how you arrange and whether they're gapless or whether they have gaps and whether it's one thing after another, and everyone is different. And so there's a learning curve, a rather steep learning curve in order to optimize the utility of any of these apps that we're using. And I really understand how when, some of you get used to the app that you're doing, that is the one that you're going to stick with because you've gone to school, you got your degree, you've done the work. And who wants to start all over again? I mean, that's the problem with the whole world of technology that we live in. I mean, I just got this new iPhone, okay? It's like an iPhone 11 or something. They're crazy expensive. You pay for it over like 3 years or something, but the price wasn't the point. The point is, you try and download all your old stuff, and then you realize that you've got to remember all the passwords that you forgot because the apps need to be re-input. You have to sign up for everything, and you have to, even if it's in your cloud, you don't get everything. And so you're starting over again. And then, of course, the way they make these things, you've got everything has a different plug. Everything you can't even turn it on and off the same way. I mean, you'd think they would just have an on switch and an off switch, right? But no, you have to push this, and then you push that, and then you do these simultaneously, and then you shake it a few times. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? And it's the same thing with these apps, only it's worse. It's worse. And so the problem of enjoying or learning about classical music is compounded not by the fact that the music is so difficult or anything. It's really very simple. You got a composer, you got to work. That's it. How hard can that be? But it's compounded by the fact that you need to go to school in order to learn how to even ask the question. And that is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And that's why I like the Presto app, because you don't have to go to school to learn how to ask the question. You just browse and pick, and it all makes sense. It's self-evidently logical. At least we get that from them. And so I really do. If you are a classical collector, I recommend the Presto app, hands down. You can put it on your regular computer. You can put it on your phone. You can do it. It works beautifully. It just works. So that I find very, very heartwarming. But the larger question remains unanswered, which is, don't these people know anything about how to sell the product? It's just, we've been around this point a million times, haven't we? The answer is no. I mean, they have no clue. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable that it's so complicated, and everybody has their own proprietary way of doing things. And they can't even agree on the things that we all know, that it's Beethoven Symphony Number 5. It's not Ludwig van Beethoven Symphony Number 5. It's not, he's not filed under L. That the symphonies ought to be really simple and oh gosh, it's a wreck. It's just a wreck. That's why I feel, so. Well, what can I say? Let me tell you a little story to close and get to this point. I work in the real estate biz in real life, and we were working on a construction project, and we had a major company, a contractor, one of the world's big ones, that was making a complete mess of this project we were doing. I mean, everything possible that they could do wrong, they were doing. They were screwing it up all over the place. And we had a wonderful little cost estimator. He was a Scotsman, a hard-drinking Scotsman who was really just a delightful guy. And he was supervising this enormous company that was supposed to have all the expertise and picking out all the stupid things that they were doing. And I said to him, isn't it just terrible that you've got this huge, supposedly expert company that can't get out of its own way, that's just completely incompetent? And he just looked at me and he said, no, actually, that's what just makes me feel so adequate. Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful moment that was. And what a true statement. So yes, the fact that these people are screwing everything up makes me and a lot of you feel tremendously adequate. It's fun to get on their case because there's such screw-ups, isn't it? But it's sad too. It's sad too because, this should be a simple, joyous thing that we can all share without headaches. And so anything that reduces the headache quotient, I'm for. And so I'm all for the Presto app to answer your question. Thank you for joining me, friends. Take care. Keep on listening, however you listen, if you can figure it out.